You're listening to Weird and Dead, the paleontology podcast that tells evolution's most embarrassing and bizarre stories. I'm Meaghan Wetherell.
And I'm Amy Atwater, and we're two living scientists who are weirdly excited about dead things.
This episode, we discuss the mysterious case of some probably pink pterosaurs preserved in puke who were parallel to some putrefied Piscine pals.
Nicely done.
The pop filter is doing a lot of work here.
Like always, we talk about disgusting things. Obviously, this will involve puke eating, scavenging, crop milk, and our disgust with Spinosaurus. Sorry, not sorry.
All of the images for this episode are available for everyone to see on our Patreon. It's public facing. And if you pay $5, you can get access to a whole bunch of bonus content, including a full-length follow-up to this particular episode, as well as tons of bonus content.
Okay, I cannot believe if you haven't seen this on your feed. I feel like it's been a hot time for paleo news lately, especially coming from the Lindsay Zano lab. Her lab has a new really sexy early Pachycephalosaurus, or Pachycephalosaur, I should say, and of course the Nanotyrannus, finally upholding this very controversial genus. And then they had an article on being able to date dinosaur eggshell, and I was like, that's fucking cooler than anything else. Fuck dinosaurs, that's cool. Just use their eggs. But then, and then there was that fuck bill paper that came out that made me really mad. And I was so upset. It's been a lot. But this one, maybe you didn't notice because almost all of the posts have been in Portuguese, as the authors are from Brazil. I learned about this research from dinolab.ufrn on Instagram, and their lead scientist is Aline Giargi, and that research was led in part by her at that laboratory. So go ahead and give them a follow. And this is an incredible story of a new discovery found in a very unexpected and very on-brand, weird and dead, disgusting way. And it literally, I'm going to try to keep a tally as we talk because I think we're going to reference so many weird and dead episodes with how many different disgusting topics are all in this one weird and dead turducken.
Oh, okay. I'm excited. I have no fucking idea what's going on, but I'm excited.
I think I finally got the... I'm either finally got the stove working properly because I'm sweating from excitement. Okay, there is a new species of pterosaur from Brazil. Okay. There's only 2 individuals known of this entire new genus and new species that they were found together in a regurgitolite. In vomit. They were found in fossil vomit. So that's fucking cool.
That's amazing.
That's just
puked up pterosaur.
Just the start.
That's just the start?
That's just the start!
Great.
These pterosaurs have really long, narrow jaws filled with hundreds of fine, baleen-like teeth. Okay,
so we've got... filter feeding pterosaurs in a puke. Do they have crops?
Exactly!
They have crops?
Well, no, we don't know that. But they obviously had crops.
Oh, right.
And I'm going to... Not only that they had crops, that's actually not even the question. Is did they have crop milk? And I'm going to make the case that these were fucking pink, that they had crop milk to support their young, and they're new, and they were found in a fossil vomit.
Probably because nobody wants to eat something that presumably has baleen or shrimp-flavored crop milk in it. It's a defense mechanism.
Yeah, we're going to chat about the contents.
Okay.
So many things. But it is most closely related in their phylogenetic analysis to Pterodostero, the devil's pterosaur we talked about before in the crop milk episode. And the reason I am saying that they likely had crop milk, for those who don't know, crop milk is exactly what it sounds like, little milk that gets vomited up for helping birds. I think that some dinosaurs and pterosaurs had them. Flamingos do this. Flamingos do this because their little filtery jaw, that's very similar to this, is too sensitive and soft when they're born as babies to do the filter feeding. So while that hardens and ossifies, the parents are puking the crop milk into their mouths and feeding them. And so if you have this morphology of these pterosaurs do that would have taken a while for all those very fine teeth to perhaps to have hardened or at least grown to be functional for filter feeding, then they maybe needed support while they were babies from their parents puking pink crop milk into their cute pink little faces.
So I had a different theory about why flamingos and obviously these pterosaurs had crop milk. Yours makes more sense. But I was just like, well, they're baleen feeders. How are they going to take all of the shrimp and krill and spit it in their baby mouths? Is the baby gonna lick the inside of their tooth rack? Like, you know, when it's an owl, they can regurgitate a whole mouse into their baby. But how is a flamingo supposed to spit back out tiny little bits unless it's in a juicy smoothie puree? Like that.
Delicious, right.
But also the hard
smoothie.
Jaw thing makes a lot of sense too.
Yeah. And I mean, they did do, I highlighted a part of the paper because it made me think of you because they were using a saw to cut through a specimen. And I was like, yeah, fuck yeah. That's right. We use Dremels.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, when have I ever used a saw? Oh, yeah, for that one mammoth tusk.
And I do think that the teeth are true teeth with like pulp cavities and, well, it says well-preserved dentine and pulp cavities.
Okay.
And I'm like, so are they born with a fully functional mouth ready to go? Regardless, I will hold to that I believe that these new pterosaurs were pink. I still support that they were probably crop milkers. We don't know, but you can go ahead and scroll. Oh wait,
you haven't even given me. I can't scroll. I can't scroll. Were these baby pterosaurs that got puked up, or these adults? How can you tell?
You know what?
Wait, are there baby pterosaurs? We know there's no longer any baby dinosaurs. Are there baby pterosaurs?
Yeah, no, seriously. I'm pretty sure they're presumed to be adults.
Okay.
Because I read this paper and I don't remember seeing anything about...
They would have mentioned if they thought they were juveniles.
That they were juveniles, but they were small enough that they could be swallowed, like, essentially whole. To be,
some adults are small, Amy. That's not weird. Some adults are smaller than other adults.
Wow, am I hitting a nerve here? Oh, that's a great question. Remember, Meaghan, we can't ever figure out how old a reptile is.
No,
so don't
that's
even
true.
bother.
Well, I don't think babies exist for reptiles. I think they're just born ready to breed.
Yeah. Well, there is your
I'm gonna go
image,
down.
Doc.
What the fuck?
That is the first image. Please describe this gorgeous fossil.
It's tiny to start off with. That's only a 5 centimeter scale bars. This is what, like 20 centimeters? It's pretty itty bitty.
They're quite small. Yes.
I mean, puke does feel real accurate as to just how I feel about this fossil. It looks like it's a nodule with some white shit inside of it. And if I picked it up, I think I would be able to tell you it was a fossil, but at no point would I ever tell you what type of fossil. I think I might pick up that there are vertebrae over there in the tail neck region. I don't know.
I don't actually even think those are the pterosaurs. There are 4 associated fish. We'll talk about those too.
Oh, yeah, that does actually make more sense.
So there's also a fish.
Yeah.
So, yes, kind of like the giant clam episode that's only available for our Patreon members. It's full episodes that we have available. We talk about these clams for the Western Interior Seaway that preserved this rare eel that's only ever known from inside that clam, and some fish. And this is like clam take 2, puke your guts out.
So I see what looks like a toilet cleaning brush that has been flattened.
Yes, that's accurate. Mm-hmm.
I'm guessing that's the baleen teeth?
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Huh.
Yes. And so I should name our friend here, of course. So this is our new species. It's Bachiribu waridza. I'm going to call it Bachiribu. Do you have a question?
I do.
Do you have a question?
Is the fish going up the pterosaur's butt?
Man, it sure wants to be. Hell yeah. Sure.
I mean, if the toilet brush face is the face.
If the toilet wand fits the hole.
Then the other side is corresponding to the fish. So...
So they do discuss how they are at different stages of decomposition. Yeah. It's like the fish went in for a little pterosaur snack, if you know what I mean. So the pterosaurs were in first. So those fish could be in what was left of the cloaca. But all the soft tissue had likely dissolved, but not enough so to acid etch any of the bone. There is no acid etching on any of the individuals. So their hypothesis that wasn't in the stomach too terribly long, either of them, but the pterosaur longer than the fish.
Okay.
You can scroll down to see the next image that actually shows you where in the anatomy and the fossil it correlates to these skulls. So they know that they have two individuals because they have the same bone of the rostrum of you just have one, and same with the mandible. So we know that there are multiple individuals in here. I do find it interesting that this is not been CT scanned yet. Maybe that will be part 2 in the next paper.
I didn't realize there were the little schematics down in C and D, so I was just looking at the shit nodule. Not like the schematics help a ton, but like
puke nodule, Meaghan.
Sorry, puke nodule. God, what a weird looking
creature.
Yeah, and multiple fish stacked on top of each other, and now they're trying to tell us that it's multiple pterosaurs too. Like, what sort of weird sorting is that? Who's able to grab 2 pterosaurs out of the sky?
Well, if they were like a flamingo, they could have been in water, and they could have been just filter feeding.
2 best friends preserved together with some fish.
This was one of those episodes where I started Googling really weird things, does anything swallow a flamingo whole? And do giraffes vomit? That's what I also searched for today.
Okay.
So, but right, they were eaten, and I mean, okay, so then I'm just going to tell you all the hot shit. We covered most of it. This is the only other point that people are talking about that I don't fucking care about. The authors, because of the other animals and the size needed to be able to produce such a regurgitolite, hypothesize that it's a spinosaurid dinosaur that ate these. So essentially, on top of all this amazing turducken, then you make it stupid. And actually, I've decided that this is like the only cool thing Spinosaurus has ever been known for. I'll just go ahead and say that.
I feel like
this
Spinosaurus
interesting
is the new Sasquatch for paleontologists.
Yeah,
we can never find it, but we can find its puke. What?
That's a good point. It's so rare. But we found, and we can chat. I loved this paper. I thought it was really, really, really spectacularly well done. I did question a lot of things, and we can talk about literally all of them. And then at the bottom of this page, these are showing its next closest relatives. So Tenechasma is an older pterosaur that's also known to be filter feeding, but it still doesn't have as high of density as teeth as Bakiribu. And then we also have Pterodostero, which is a younger taxon that has actually even more teeth and longer ones and is even, I think, bigger than Bakiribu. So it is an intermediate, both evolutionarily in timeline and also in its features. They're pointing out that it seems to be this intermediate form on this lineage of these super fucking weird, rare filter feeding pterosaurs. So filter feeding pterosaurs would have been pink, would have puked things in their kids' mouths, and then they were preserved in puke.
Because they were probably gross. Whatever dinosaur ate them was like, this was a mistake. It's tickling me. It's tickling my throat. Why'd I eat a bush?
Oh, it's just like gnawing on their insides.
Yeah.
Just triggering their...
I guess I keep thinking of these as baleen and being kind of softish, but they probably, like you said, they're full teeth, right?
They seem to be at least dentine and have a pulp cavity. So we know that what's interesting about dentine is, maybe if it's ever growing, but it's soft compared to enamel. So... to just have teeth of dentine is, again, just like our weird friends, the whatever, the sloth boys, the
There's a new evolutionary hypothesis for David Peters to explore.
Oh, God. Yeah, right. The only time that I didn't get that excited was when they talked about the Spinosaurid. And to be honest, I'm super not convinced that it is from a dinosaur even. Dinosaur puke, as I've learned today, is incredibly rare for a lot of reasons. So I'm still not 100% convinced on that. But I mean, I don't study this shit. I mean, this puke. So okay, so I'm going to tell you the story essentially from, I follow a few of the researchers on social media, and that's how I heard about the study, and they posted about it in Portuguese, so this is the translated version. And what I also find interesting about this fossil is that it wasn't recently discovered, Meaghan. It has been in collections for decades.
Of fucking course it has. Of course it has. Yep. Because we can't ever get any fucking grant money to study things we already have. Speaking as someone who now wants to get grant money to go into the field a lot more, but like still.
I know you are like the counterpoint to this right now, but we never, like up until 2 months ago or a month ago, we didn't even know that. So, which is super wild. Yeah. Your recent discovery is the only time I've been on a research paper about something recently found. Because I just got cut off one of those this year. So now I super don't have one of, anyway, so this will be a fun new venture for us. Yes. Yeah, so it was just in collections. And then finally they were doing a survey like at this university. And so these students noticed that the fossil looked weirder than the others. And then these local paleo professor looked at it and immediately recognized it as this Tenochasmatidae, which is the filter feeding pterosaurs, and have this unique dentition because of this ecological role that they're playing, akin to a flamingo. In the post, they literally compare it to a flamingo. And then their paleo art for it is fucking white. And I was like, bullshit. Come on.
Be brave.
Why has it got to be white? Yeah, I was not super stoked on that. So then they started studying this specimen, and it is significant because it's the first time that this type of pterosaur has been found from the tropics. I think it's the first from Gondwana. Like the only other ones are known from Europe, East Asia, and then the pterosaurs is known from like Chile and Argentina. So it's the only one known, and it's the only one known from this, I think, time period and formation. They think it's kind of weird that it's found in the formation that it's found in. The Romualdal. Romualdaldo. Okay, I'll work on that. I wrote it out. I still didn't do it. My Spanish teacher from high school would be so pissed at me. She always complained I was terrible at pronunciation.
Isn't it Portuguese?
Romualdo. Yeah, but I mean, I can kind of read Portuguese. Yeah, it's Portuguese. Romualdo Formation, which has preserved a ton of stuff, including tons of fish and everything. So they are found with these 4 small fish that they describe as being their heads oriented in the same direction. So their point is they think that this is a point of proving that it is a regurgitolite because fish-eating animals eat their prey whole head first because it's fish and they want to go with the like the ergometric way that doesn't hurt them that much. And they're like, so clearly it shows they're all oriented like in the same way head first. And I'm like, yeah, but they came back out. They came back out. Like, we're not preserving the inside of the stomach. Like, we are, but it's no longer on the inside. It's now outside. So they had to go through that same journey back. And who says that they would have stayed in the same orientation? So my hypothesis was that these are more like imbricated class in rivers. Yeah,
these are just they're imbricated. They could have been imbricated going in, but like they also were imbricated going out.
We are talking about, if we're really saying this is this fucking stupid ass Spinosaurid dinosaur, like that's a big dinosaur. It's like it's dumb. It's big. It has.
I was going to say we should define imbrication, not Spinosaur.
Oh, okay, good. I was like, I don't want to fucking describe. I'm doing such a good job of both. Imbricated just means that things get like lined up like in a river flow, like rocks or cobbles or any type of clast or even wood sometimes will kind of orient together in like a parallel way kind of, and then you can tell the direction of flow by telling that. So a lot of times it's used in sedimentology to be able to understand, again, the paleo environment that you're interpreting based on those. So when I first read that they were all oriented in the same way, I immediately just was like, yeah, fluvial dynamics of vomit. Like, duh, yeah. It's just puke flow. like
how big do they think this animal's neck was? Like, throat for regurgitating. At the same time,
right, but then it falls. Like, I don't know how tall Spinosaurus was because I don't care, but it's pretty big. I'm talking like around T-Rex size. I think they argue about which one's bigger.
I thought they had basset hound legs. They always look like they've got little basset hound legs, so they're much closer to the ground than you expect.
Okay, but like regardless, it's pretty tall. We're talking
That's
like
true. It's a big basset hound.
14, I don't know, 12, 14, 20 feet tall. I don't fucking know. I'm just thinking about how if I could touch a T-Rex at a museum and how much of me it would take to touch it. So that falling from your mouth to the ground, I would kind of think that it would splatter as well. So I also kind of find it interesting that, or was it like, did they eat like a lot of chia seeds and it was like nice
gelatinous
all together?
This is going to be a real hard episode again for people.
I'm not even there yet, man. I have a whole section about why dinosaurs vomit because it's not straightforward.
Interesting.
It's gross.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I guess its head could have been close to the ground. Right?
If it felt icky, it was like sick and it was like, bleh.
As opposed to being surprised.
Which is one of the reasons, defense. But it's not because you're surprised. It's to provide food for your attacker so that they'll eat your vomit instead of you.
See, I just remember when owning snakes, you had there were always a couple snakes that you had to be a little bit more considerate about because if you looked at them funny, they'd go, ah! And just puke. Puke out all their food so that they would be lighter and could slither away. So for me, I'm like, well, maybe this Spinosaurus just got goosed.
I told you. I just ate.
Wait, what if this is crop milk and the baby just missed? This is Spinosaurus crop milk. It's vomiting it up for its young.
Oh, right. Because that's the other reason dinosaurs vomit is to feed their young. At least that's what birds do. So the idea that this is
crop milk on crop milk.
Right. It could be, right. There could be so many layers of this. Maybe it formed a concretion inside a baby Spinosaurus's stomach. And that's died. Actually what was preserved. Yeah. Prove me wrong.
You can't. Spinosaurus doesn't appear to have bones. So.
Okay, Meaghan.
Just fucking evaporated.
I was going to bring it up later, but with that beautiful segue, some of the information that I'm getting about dinosaur puke, which is hilarious, is from a book by Tony Martin, a fantastic paleoichnologist, trace fossil guy, and it's called Dinosaurs Without Bones. That's the name of the book.
I have that book.
Okay, then he's got some fucking sick diagrams. Actually, one of them is on here. I think maybe it's the next one. Oh, well, go ahead and scroll and we can get to Tony's drawing. Here are the reconstructions of our Bakiribu.
Pink pterosaur with a fur coat. Love it.
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
and I was going to say.
That's pterodostero is the true pink one. And I'm saying they missed the boat. They should have obviously made.
All of them are pink.
Right. But they did get fucking Spinosaurus in there.
I was going to ask if this was the velocity of projectile vomiting diagram because I didn't know that was Tony, but that makes a lot of sense that that's Tony.
Yep, and that's funny. From that book.
Yep,
you have it from that book. Yeah, he also. I've been perusing through it, and I take notes on things that will work for episodes. But there's so many, it's hard to keep them all straight. So, but one of the really funny ones that he has in here is that he has what the hypothetical marks would look like from dinosaurs having sex. Hypothetical dinosaur trackway patterns associated with sex, such as from a bipedal theropod and quadrupedal sauropods. And it just shows their feet looking like they're trying to do a piggyback ride. So apparently, if you find that, Tony says that's dinos doing it. It also just looks like it's one individual who took little shuffled steps. But what do I know? I wasn't there. I wasn't getting puked on or any of those things. But yes, he posted this again, in response to this recent paper talking about the regurgitolite. Do you want to explain this? I mean, this is iconic.
This is iconic. So this is just a very simple black and white diagram of a brachiosaurus with a big old stream of pukey puke flying out of its mouth and hitting the ground. And it's got, the little velociraptors are apparently running out of the way. And it's basically just looking at like the impact velocity of if the Brachylophosaurus. I always want them to be Brachylophus, but this is just Brachiosaurus.
Because that would be, it's just the boring one.
It's just the boring one, but it is tall. We're talking 45 feet tall here if it's standing all the way upright while puking.
Yeah,
then you're getting...
Which is debated.
Yeah.
This is one of the feedbacks. Yes.
Yeah. So how much impact you're getting and how much puke it would be puking, assuming 50 kilograms of regurgitite and hard packed sand as the impact site.
Yeah. I mean, this one made me, assuming 50 kilograms, 110 pounds of regurgitant for impact velocity from 14 meters, 45 feet height and hard packed sand as impact site. I went, well, why don't you just go on a ladder 45 feet up with a 2-liter bottle of soda and pour it on the ground and see what it looks like, which is another from our dinosaur urine episode from the urine. So that's what it totally reminded me as, which is funny because it was like right next to the urine fossils because this book is my perfect book.
Yep. So yes, 68,000 newtons, which sounds like a lot, but I don't know newtons.
Apparently, I had to look that up. And if we took it at face value, that would be like 6 or 7 cars slamming into you at once, something like that, which is a lot. But then the good people of Reddit, someone posted just being like, hello, could please to this exact figure. I was like, damn, Tony, that's impact, literally from the vomit. But it's someone being like, can someone who knows math explain to me in layman's terms how hard this impact would be and how bad the damage would be? And then this nerd comes in, God bless, I say that with love, who essentially talks about all the fallacies with it, but really just starts breaking it down to it wouldn't necessarily be the liquid component. It would be these chunks. And so that it is really about, his last line is literally, it comes down to what texture you assume for the vomit, how chunky your chunks are, and how many lumps are in that chunder, and how hard and firm are they. And he compares it to a baseball, which has all these, I don't know, features, and how it would be like a large dog at rest lying on you. You would feel it, but it isn't likely to kill you. So this individual's mathematician skills are saying that it's probably actually not that intense. It's not 7 cars slamming into you at once, but it really depends on the contents.
And that was going to be one of the things that I was going to comment on, is that this is a brachiosaurus, commonly known as an herbivore. Why does the puke diagram have tiny dinosaurs in it? Is that supposed to be a dead dinosaur?
I think it's from it killing a dinosaur that it landed on. And keep in mind that it only ate vegetation, but sauropods consumed stomach stones. And so these gastroliths would have been like little pelts, little bullets in that vomit slurry, hypothetically.
And I'm going to critique one more thing of this illustration, Tony, and that is that this is not projectile vomiting. This is just vomiting. As a person who has been projectile vomited on by a sheep, so I feel like I have some pretty good experience with knowing that shit flies farther than you would think horizontally. Projectile vomiting is about horizontal distance, and this Brachiosaurus is not trying. This Brachiosaurus is just puking. When Jody got really sick from, who knows, she was just like, she could shoot at like 6 feet. And it was just these like nasty sprays of really, really bright green hay. And it was surprising that a sheep could shoot it that far. So you don't just have the gravitational pull in projectile vomiting. If you are projectile vomiting, you also have the stomach force with that lateral.
Right.
Push.
There's still there's more force behind it. I'll tell you that the conclusion I came to today is, where are the modern studies? Why are we not, why aren't we testing this? I want numbers. I want data. I want answers.
Is this why you looked up giraffe puking?
Someone on Reddit told me that giraffes can't puke. And I was like, that doesn't seem right. And that was wrong, everyone. That was wrong. Giraffes can puke. They're weird artiodactyls.
People have told me sheep can't puke, and they can puke.
They're also technically puking all the time by chewing their fucking gnarly cud, which did make me laugh thinking about a giraffe's journey to do that. That is a lot of extra travel for that. For all that food that we gave our giraffes this summer. Oh. They ate it so many times.
They did. At least twice. Let's talk about giraffe puke. Tell me about giraffe puke.
Oh, that's about all. That's about all, was that they are still chewing their cud. But once it gets past the second stomach, it is super duper rare for a giraffe to puke because it has like a greater maze literally to go through to get back out. And then it's got this go-go ramp exit like at the end of the neck.
Yes.
So yeah, they don't puke like the way we think of puke, but they are still doing their rechewing their ruminant. So they're still ruminating. That's about as far as I went.
Meanwhile, horses, I think, actually can't puke. It's one of their many reasons why they die. Because they don't chew their cud.
Right.
They do have multiple stomachs, so I think once it gets too far, I don't know that they have the muscles to push it back up. But it might also be that horses just actively choose not to because horses long for death.
We have established this. Horses are begging to die.
Yeah, horses are suicidal, so sometimes it's like behavioral or physical maladaptation. I don't know.
Let's figure out how to test. But yeah. Okay, so back to Becky Rebu. They went through like the majority of the paper without talking about the vomit part at all. I was like, I'm kind of impressed. We're going to talk a little bit about the Romualdo formation and how they're like, we don't really think it's from this because anyway, we'll chat about it. But I was like, come on, I need some more info. So I found it quite interesting kind of the way they organized this. But so in terms of the significance of it, it tells us what we talked about earlier about this continuation of this family group with Pterodostero and the Tenochasmid one that was older and then younger. And then they talk about why they think it's a regurgitolite. Like how they are determining that this fossil was a puke fossil and not, say, a bunch of other weird things, like even a poop fossil for that matter. Yes, it can be hard to tell the difference between a coprolite and a regurgitolite, all of which are the bromolites, which we talk about in one of our very disgusting early episodes.
Yes.
They talk about that the pterosaurs and fish were preserved within a concretion, waxstone, non-oriented ostracods and foraminifera, which are similar to the concretions known from this formation, and the co-occurrence of the densely packed, semi-articulated, and fragmented pterosaur bones that are predominantly aligned in subparallel orientation, together with a cluster of similarly aligned fish, supports the interpretation of the assemblage as a regurgitolite, which is a mass indigestible material that was expelled orally by the predator. We don't know that. We weren't there. We don't know why this predator puked it back up. Like, why would you puke up the fish? Were relatively whole. Like, why would you puke up perfectly good fish stuff already if you were trying to get out? Maybe it was feeding its young.
Yeah.
Maybe it got scared.
Maybe Tum Tum was just a little upset. Like, it's just,
So what they had to rule out, though, Meaghan, is the floating carcass model.
What?
I was like, why did you lead with that?
Oh my God, is there floating here too somehow? Jesus.
Essentially, it's that buoyant carcasses disarticulate through soft tissue decay before sinking. However, this scenario fails to account for the observed bone breakage and the consistent alignment of the elements. Again, regarding the alignment, it's the low energy depositional setting of this formation would not have facilitated the hydraulic reorientation abrasion, and the absence of bone abrasion further indicates minimal post-mortem transport following decomposition. Oh, there's a lot to unpack in that line. But essentially, they're saying that it had to be oriented that way because it was face first swallowed by this fish-eating animal. So that's why it has to be aligned like this, because the Romualdo Formation is considered a very low-energy Lagerstadt. And so there wouldn't have been any fluid motion in that environment to reorient the bones if it were this buoyant carcass hypothesis, is I think what they're arguing here. Again, they talk about how most fish-eating birds typically ingest their prey whole head first. They say that because orally expelled material is often embedded in a mucus envelope that maintains cohesion during egestion, which is the opposite of ingestion, which also prevents the dispersion of skeletal elements and preserves their relative positioning within the mass. So they are saying that this is fairly gelatinous and keeping it together in a jelly-like vomit bowl.
Okay. Okay. So
I tell you, it's a perfect article.
Why do they think this isn't a shark?
That is a great question, my queen. Because in my book here, Dinosaurs Without Bones, my friend Tony, I can't call him my friend, we hung out in August, talks about how a lot of times with these supposed dinosaur regurgitolites, they can't really prove that they're not another animal, in that being fish or, so like a shark, or, he talks about ichthyosaurs in other deposits and things like that. So I wasn't convinced, like he talks and cites a few different papers that I need to still look up about exactly that. Like, oh, we thought it was this, but it probably isn't. Oh, we thought it was this, but it's probably not. So, and fish is one of the major ones that he brought up.
Well, and if this is Spinosaurus, doesn't Spinosaurus have a muscular crop like birds do? Like birds, when they swallow gastroliths, they're not going all the way down into the stomach. They're going into the crop to grind things. So why is this getting so digested and mucus encrusted without any sort of crushing and compression? That suggests to me that it's going through something that doesn't have that internal chewing mechanism. So, which I would assume a Spinosaurus does. Also, like, Spinosaurus has a long, toothy face. It's got a long, toothy face. It's not...
You would think that it would bite it to pieces to a degree,
or maybe not bite and, like, chew, but at least there would be bites. And these look like pretty whole fish. Why is this Spinosaurus...
Right, they are whole fish.
Swallowing whole fish.
And they're also fairly small. Like, I find it interesting that one of their forms of, like here, I think it talks about why they think it is Spinosaurid dinosaurs. It's because the potential predators of the Romualdo Formation paleo ecosystem are like Spinosaurid dinos and ornithochiriform pterosaurs that can be really big. One of those can have a wingspan of like 7 to 8 meters. So there's also another pterosaur in the ecosystem that could potentially taken that on. But we also do know, the pterosaur is Tropionathus, which has a wingspan exceeding 8 meters. But they don't talk about fish. But I had to go look up more information about the Romualdo Formation. And this is what Wikipedia told me, is it earns the designation of a Lagerstadt due to an exceedingly well-preserved and diverse fossil faunal assemblage. Some 25 species of fossil fish are often found with their stomach contents preserved, great, high levels of preservation, fine examples of pterosaurs, reptiles, and invertebrates, and crocodilomorphs. And some dinosaurs, Spinosauridae, Tyrannosauridae, Compsognathidae, the usual taphonomy of the site results in limestone accretions that form nodules around the dead organisms, preserving even soft parts of their anatomy. And to actually prep them, they etch them with acid and then they preserve them in like a resin. So there seems like there's a lot of fucking things in here that could potentially eating these. And one of their reasons of why it's Spinosaurus or Spinosaurids,
right? That is technically different. It's a Spinosaurid. That means it's a member of the family of which Spinosaurus is the only famous one.
And they do say in their article, or at least on their social media posts, that this is impossible to know for sure, but they think the best candidates are large fish-eating predators that lived in the region. And again, the dinosaurs and the large pterosaurs. But of course, mostly what's getting picked up is the dinosaur part of this. So they don't, like, that is not, again, the puke part is not mentioned until the very end of the discussion.
Which is cool.
They are mostly describing this new genus of pterosaur, which is super cool. And it's at the end that it gets really interesting with some of the interpretations that that they're coming to. So they also were confused because this type of filter feeding pterosaur are not known from this formation. And again, it's a Lagerstadt, so that means high, incredible preservation. So you would think that they might have been found there before because it just has lots of pterosaurs already known from it. So why is it missing this pterosaur environment? So they suggest that there probably weren't these filter feeding pterosaurs there, and that it's possible that the filter feeding pterosaurs were from another spot. The predator ate it in another environment and then subsequently regurgitated it within the Romualdo Formation depositional area, comprising of coastal and pelagic paleo environments. So I am like, wait, what? The parsimonious answer here is that it makes more sense that, like, they weren't ever here and that. And again, this Spinosaurus, like, on a fucking road trip, wouldn't a pterosaur make more sense, or a shark make more sense if it wasn't local in terms of getting around? I mean, I don't know, like, the range of Spinosaurid, but it seems like a pterosaur would help understand that component of why they think it's weird being found in this. And I'm also just going, maybe because of how delicate their dumb faces. I don't know. I'm just not convinced. If this is the first time we're finding this genus, then maybe it just needs to be preserved in puke. And that's the only way it preserves. Maybe they're there. They just
like
haven't
a sturgeon,
had puke before.
You know, like there's just
right. They need their buddy.
Yeah.
We can't do it alone. Yeah, these filter feeders, we don't even think they necessarily lived here. We think they were maybe
ambergris
flown in. Yeah, ambergris. Oh, see, we got there.
So ambergris is whale puke. I believe it floats, yes?
I think so, yeah. It's worth a lot of money.
How are we not confident that this is, like, I mean, obviously it's not whale, but it could be shark ambergris or something. Like, how do we know that this isn't, like, puke that floated?
Okay, first off, this is a coastal pelagic and to pelagic. So we're talking a mostly water-rich environment. So where was this Spinosaurid puking that it then got preserved in a water environment, like the actual ocean? So it was just like when you go on the tilt-a-whirl at the pier and you got to, like, lean over and puke up your corn dog. Like, is it that kind of situation?
Your corn dog and those two dead pterosaurs you ate quite a while ago.
Those two dead, and those 4 sardines you slipped in.
Nice finishing touch. Ew.
But right, like, how did the vomit even get preserved? That's another, I do believe that the vomit landed in this exceptional high preservation environment because it would have been disarticulated, but maybe that's why it also didn't splatter everywhere when it hit the ground, because it wasn't hitting ground, it was hitting water, and it could stay in its
cocoon.
Creepy, gelatinous, blubber situation. Yeah, and but Spinosaurid, that's
the most obvious conclusion.
But I am excited to see what comes of this. I have a feeling that this was the first paper to kind of get the word out that this exists. I have a feeling there will be more to come. I hope CT scanning is, because they really can't even decide which bones go with which pterosaur in the diagnosis and definition section of the systematic paleo. Oh my God. Yeah. They're like, we think element B is with the holotype and E is with the paratype, but and like you'll look at the images and they have question marks. So they still don't quite understand which bone goes to which organism. So we have more things to learn, and then maybe we could find out if there's more evidence about the puke maker. And so, I mean, we covered all my other fun little things. They just came up naturally because we're disgusting, horrible people. But really, I mean, the conclusions are, they say that it was puked back up because these were undigestible masses. So that's like a gastric pellet, which is like what owls will do. However, other organisms are going to vomit because of things
this
like
is not
illness.
A gastric pellet.
And then
this
again,
is way too well articulated for this to be a gastric pellet.
And that is the other part that where did it go?
Like if you dissect an owl pellet, it's not like you pull a full mouse skeleton out and then you can just carefully place it. Like you get a lot of different pieces and chunks. And part of that is because they have a crop that is moving everything around. The owl pellet is the stuff that doesn't go through the crop. And it would be processed if this was just a pellet. Like it would be mixed.
And they wouldn't be.
You wouldn't have full animals.
And I don't think you'd have the orientation either because the pellet is formed in the guts and then comes out. So then our whole fluvial process part is out. So they did interpret that the pterosaur was eaten first and that they believe that this part made me, that the pterosaur was eaten first because it was more disarticulated than the fish were. Now, they also talk about how they think it was...
Spinosaurus was a scavenger. Is eating some dead pterosaurs and then following it up with fish, just like T-Rex.
No, I thought it was like Spinosaurus. Like, here, friend, I ate some dead pterosaur. Would you like it? Blech. Here you go.
The Spinosaurus has gastroparesis, delayed stomach emptying.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. But one of the things I found interesting is that they're trying to say that that the broken bones of the pterosaur bones are one of the ways to prove that it was in the stomach because they would have quote unquote be broken during like the digestion. And again, I'm like, they were vomited up. Like they were vomited like in this like at some point they hit another substrate. Like I guess if they are going straight into this water environment, but even then we could have the fracturing of these bones not just be from inside the tum-tum, but the process of going out and landing on that depositional environment. So I thought that was really interesting too, but they say that they don't have a ton of soft tissue with the pterosaur bones. And so it's because digestion is preferring the soft tissue. And then, but because we do know that from the Romualdo Formation, we do get soft tissue preservation, but then why weren't the fish? Why do we see like full fish? So
you could have this thing eating scavenging as almost any predator would, but it is funny to pretend that it's only a scavenger because that makes people mad. If you have Spinosaurus seeing, oh, here's some dead pterosaurs. I eat them, and then I catch a fish, and then my tummy doesn't feel good because I ate some dead pterosaurs like a moron. Let me puke all of these things up. Like, that seems just as plausible as I ate some pterosaurs. Somehow I dissolved them into goo without crunching their little tiny bones with my crop, which I don't actually know if Spinosaurus has a crop, but like birds do. And then I somehow miraculously puked them up both whole. Like,
that's a good point. It's a really good point. Or maybe the pterosaurs were those floating, disgusting, dead thing blob that then got eaten along with some fish. And that's why I love that.
Maybe the Spinosaurus saw two dead pterosaurs and thought that was so gross. It puked on top of them and broke some pterosaur bones.
Yes. Like Tony's drawing. Or they saw two living pterosaurs.
New hunting technique.
Yeah. They were pissed off by these two pterosaurs, so they puked on them. But then that doesn't explain why they're partially, So, but there are a lot of, like, this is a taphonomic playground. What happened to these bones? But what we do know is that there is a whole new genus and species of pterosaur only known from fossil puke. And that makes me really happy.
Yeah, no, this is a really cool specimen. What a specimen. That's pretty great. We can argue back and forth about who's puking on who and when. And I'm sure we will. And I'm sure that if I ever went to another scientific conference for vertebrate paleontology, I'm sure that there would be like a very big argument in a poster session about who's puking first. And that is objectively a funny thing to think about.
I've been thinking about it a lot.
Yeah.
A lot.
I understand why. That is That is nuts.
And somewhat ironically, I'm also reading this other book that I've been reading for forever. I don't get through it very fast, by Mary Roach, who is a great nonfiction author. Fuzz. It's about human and animal interactions. And she has this one. This is where I learned of this, all on seagulls and how if you get them nervous, they will vomit, and it's defensive vomiting. And her subnote is, I figured it was a way to become lighter and be better able to take wing and flee. Nope. Nor is it done to repulse the predator. Au contraire, it is more likely, said goal expert Julie Ellis, a way to distract a potential predator with some alternative food. It was timely. So dinosaurs are still doing this. They're still living as the disgusting creatures.
So you've got two Spinosaurs. One eats two pterosaurs, which probably were fucking. I'm going to just go ahead and say that the story needs that final cohesive part. So they were
Romeo and Juliet. They weren't just fucking. They were from rival pterosaur families.
Rival pterosaur families. It was really quite tragic. And the Spinosaur ate them, walked around a little bit. Bigger Spinosaur has some fish already. It sees this one and it makes it scared and it pukes it. And then big Spinosaur takes it and we got puke passage from one Spinosaur to the other.
I kind of thought you were going to go like they both puke and then they start eating that, like a Lady and the Tramp moment.
No. This is not romance in the second Spinosaur. It's romance for the pterosaurs, Amy. That one's confirmed. That one is in stone. Why can't it
be multiple layers of love in this disgusting story we're telling?
I mean, I guess it could be, how like penguins bring pebbles? Maybe what Spinosaur A brings some rotten pterosaurs that it's eaten and it pukes them out for Spinosaur B. Spinosaur B eats them. They don't agree with its stomach, but that's love sometimes. You got to eat things you don't want to eat.
You don't watch Love Island because you're sane, but they have these contests on Love Island that I have to skip.
The fuck does this have to do with puking?
No, seriously, dude. No. It's fucked up. Kelly will know exactly where I'm going with this. It's really common on the UK season. I think they do it with the US too, but the UK season always does this challenge where they're in teams and they have to pass like a food item or a drink from person to person just using their mouths. Like they have to drink. You've told
me about this. That's
so they're just spitting pina coladas like into each other's mouths like human centipede, like 5 or 6 people deep to fill up a cup. Like one time they did it with like hot dogs and things like ketchup, Meaghan, and you know how I feel about ketchup. And so maybe Spinosaurids were on social, like reality TV, and they were in a contest and they just were trying to pass as many digested pterosaurs from Spinosaurid to Spinosaurid to see who could collect them all and find true love.
Spinosaurid centipede.
Yeah, Love Island, early Cretaceous. Oh, this fossil is 110 million years old. I should have said that at the beginning.
That's like the least important aspect of this entire story. Well, and that's the other thing,
because it was found in collections, they actually have shit provenance and no collection date. So, like, they know it's from the Romualdo Formation because of lithology and it fits, like, these normal concretions. But it also, we don't know that. Like, it's also, like, we don't fucking know a whole lot about this specimen. And the fact that it's so weird and they are missing some really key provenance data is also interesting. And that's just, like, the metadangle. They were the best at passing those vomit slurries to each other. And then the name Baki Ribu is for the indigenous people of Cariri of Brazil. And they did a great social media series on them. I highly recommend. We'll give a shout out to them in our credits to give them a follow. But one of theirs was that they were emphasizing the importance of doing ethical paleontology by working with individuals who like are sound good people in a decolonialist perspective. And so they're using indigenous names. They're sticking with local authors as much as they can. And they ended it with a hashtag Ubirahara belongs to BR. So that is the specimen, the fossil that was stolen from Brazil a long time ago. And essentially this fossil was stolen from Brazil. Brazilian paleontologists still want this fossil back. And this is a huge issue with, these colonialist countries like the United States and Great Britain coming into other countries and taking their fossils from them and say, and this, I'm pretty sure the researcher did that same bullshit argument of, oh, the Brazilians can't take care of this fossil or don't know how to take care of it or study it properly. And that is fucked up and just really super fucking racist and terrible. So another thing to mention is that, yes, this is a Brazilian fossil being studied by a lot of Brazilian paleontologists, and we should return all of their fossils to Brazil. How about that?
Yep. They have fucking museums, you know? They have museums. You can return them to the museums. It's not that difficult. When I went to Kyrgyzstan, right, like we had an agreement in place, and this wasn't my research project, I was just helping, but there was an agreement in place that basically they only had one geologist in the entire country at that point, and they didn't have like a paleontology museum. So the goal was that Wynne would take them back, study them, and store them until there was a museum that's in place in Kyrgyzstan. So like there's writing as to what that museum would need to have in order to safely store them. And this is all agreed upon by the one poor geologist in Kyrgyzstan. And it's all like very formalized and stuff. And I thought, oh, that's really great. And then when I started at University of Arizona, we're trying to get rid of our collections of I think that actually happened last year. I wasn't really super aware of what it was, but like there was a big set of fossil collections that were like, it was a formal repository, but they don't have room for it or money to pay for its storage. So even in what we think is like a quote unquote first world country with like museums that quote unquote follow good collection practices, those museums can go under. So like there's always a risk to your scientific organizations. It actually doesn't matter what country you're in. As we are very much seeing today, that problem is going to get worse. So yeah, give them back to fucking Brazil. Brazil can handle. If you're really scared about it, CT scan them and then send them off. That's ta-da.
Go find your own fucking puke fossils, you fucking wussies.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it's like, I loved every angle of this story. I couldn't have been more pleased and delighted. And I hope one day to meet one or many of these authors and go, thank you. Thank you for changing my life.
I mean, I do have a selfie that I took at Ashfall with one of the puke fossils there. So getting a selfie with some puked up pterosaurs is a pretty good goal as well.
Heck yeah. I have pictures of you taking selfies of you with regurgitolites at Florissant National Monument too. So, and those were fish.
Oh, that's right.
So again, we might be able to compare. And now I'm working on fish poop. So like, bring it on. I love every end. So this is disgusting. I don't know where it will end up for our listeners, but I don't think it'll end up partially digested in the bottom of the ocean. So
that's all for this episode. If you like the podcast, be sure to rate and review us on your listening platform of choice. We really appreciate it. If you'd like to hear more and support the show, you should consider following us on Patreon. Not only do you get exclusive content and early episode access, you also support our scientific research, our wonderful editor, Max Scott, and you pay for things like our awesome new theme song from Joaquin Herreros. Thank you for listening.